Okay, hello. Good morning or good evening, everyone. We're broadcasting now live from Benghazi. I'm sorry for this really late timing, but this is when we reach the Freedom Group of Misrata, and I want to update you with the latest of what is going on there. I have someone, a spokesman from Freedom Group. He's going to be with me right now. I'm going to ask him questions, and you're going to hear what is going on in Misrata. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Can you update us on the situation in Misrata right now?
Yes, it's now nearly 4 a.m. Saturday morning. The bombing that began early Thursday morning, was at 6:30 a.m. has continued non-stop. They are firing every kind of missile like grad, mortar, bombs, tanks, shells, cluster bombs, and a lot of weapons that we didn't identify or know the type. Like there was this bomb that explodes and burn everything. When freedom fighters put on it some water, it still burn and get larger. I don't know what's this type of this bomb.
And which areas are being targeted?
The bombing is downtown Misrata and neighborhood of Misrata, like Zawiyat Mahjoub and Qasr Ahmed. Right now, there is a heavy bombardment at the harbor at Qasr Ahmed. The harbor has been bombed and non-stop since 6:30 p.m. Yesterday. They are concentrating the harbor and the residential area in Qasr Ahmed.
And why do you think Gaddafi forces are targeting the harbor?
Gaddafi is desperate to gain control of the harbor. Firstly, he wants to close the only lifeline to Misrata, which is now under siege. Secondly, the harbor is one of the largest in North Africa, and is the hub of all the other cities in Libya. Gaining control of the harbor will allow Gaddafi to receive weapons and mercenaries from his allies. He can then supply his forces in other biggest cities like Zintan and Jalo. He can also move further east to liberate cities like Jdabia and Benghazi.
And what about the supplies and the capability of the hospital to deal with the current situation in Misrata?
The hospitals are desperately short of medicine and medical equipment and staff, like anesthesia and heart monitoring equipment. And the hospital are overflowing of injured and dead bodies. A lot of doctors say that Misrata cannot afford any kind of surgeries, like a broken leg. They cannot fix the leg, so they have to amputate it. The water and electricity and telecommunication has been cut off for more than a month right now. The sewage system has completely collapsed. So the situation in Misrata is very, very bad.
So you can't even do simple operations or in the hospital?
Yes. I have that a friend. He been shot with an FN rifle in his leg, and his leg was broken. So the doctor couldn't fix his leg because they don't have the right tools or equipment. So before it's too late and become harmful to the rest of his body, they amputate his leg. So that's kind of medical situation in Misrata.
Okay. How are the children in Misrata coping with all of this?
Misrata children are suffering. They are living at fear state. like in Qasr Ahmed, I had an interview with one of fathers. He told me that his son has entered into psychological collapse. He's like went insane or something. He don't recognize his family. He was 6 years old, and there were other and the Gaddafi troops are making making the bombs like toys. So when the bomb would not explode, the boy find this bomb and will explode to him. There was this boy. He was 12 years old. He found one of these bombs, and it's exploded into him. He lost his leg. He lost his leg and his eye. He lost his leg and his left eye. It was a horrible scene for us.
I understand. We heard that a ship arrived today in Misrata harbor. Is that true?
Yes, there was a Tunisian ship. There was a Tunisian ship arrived to Misrata harbor. It was belonged to Red Crescent. It was they take the injured from Misrata to bring them to Tunisia, and they fixed them there. And that was very helpful for the hospital here.
I want to ask you, are there still Gaddafi troops in Tripoli streets?
Yes, they're still at Tripoli Street, like the city people hall, or we call it the shop, or the Tijari Bank. There are a lot of them there, but they cannot move further outside the city because the freedom fighters are surrounding them. And there's still a few, or the main place, we can say, at the abandoned hospital and Abu Sha'ala hospital. That's in the beginning of the Tripoli Street, and they're surrounding them too. But the freedom fighters, they're afraid of support that will get to these surrounded Gaddafi troops in these places, because as far as we know, they are now controlling in the coastal way of Misrata at Zawit al-Mahjoub, so they can get supplies or tanks to the center of the city so easily from that road.
I understand. So Gaddafi troops have an easy way to get resupplied. Okay.
Yes.
Do you think NATO is doing enough?
Not really. Like today, when the bombing started by the Hound, we didn't hear any of the NATO jets flying over the city, or when the Grad started striking at Qasr Ahmed Thursday, we didn't hear any plane flying on the city. But when the bomb stops, the plane was shown, and we heard these planes. So sometimes we hear that they are destroying a tank or two. But the freedom fighters here are doing a lot of that. Like they are destroying sometimes 3 tanks or 2 tanks more than these airplanes do.
So freedom fighters are actually doing. Freedom fighters are doing more progress than the NATO is.
When the NATO, yes, more progress with the tanks and more damage to the tanks than the NATO do. Because when the NATO is taking over these operations, the bombing and the strikes has like it stops, and there was a fewer air jets flying over the city.
Did the bomb